I'm joined now by Simone Wijmans. Welcome, Simone.
Welcome.
I would say Simone is a classic newsreader and presenter for Dutch public television and radio. This very short visualization you saw by Juri Veerman, is that something you would expect or could expect in the 8 o'clock news?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have a department called the Paint Box. It's a bit of an old name, but it's still called the Paint Box, and they do all the graphics for the news, and they're really trying to use new technologies, new ways of telling the stories graphically. So I definitely think maybe not literally this one, because the XS and the YS are not really completely right, but definitely they're experimenting with new ways of telling stories graphically in the news.
Okay.
Yeah.
You work for Dutch public broadcasting,
Right.
and you are a fighter for the public cause. Why? What is the importance of
Well, I mean, as a journalist, you are one of the guardians of democracy. It sounds a bit like big, but I always think about myself, am I really a guardian, you know? But yeah, I really feel that as journalists, we are guardians and pillars of democracy. We really have to make sure that we give the right information, that we ask critical questions to political leaders, CEOs, regular people in the streets, and also give information so that people make informed decisions, put stories into context, so make the news ourselves, do our own research, tell news stories. So I think it's really important to fight for that cause, definitely. Yeah.
Journalism is under fire a
Yeah.
lot these days. What is the danger in that? There are a lot of right-wing politicians, extreme right-wing politicians that say journalists are scum. People who don't like news items that don't coincide with their opinions, they will put it in the trash bin. What is the danger of that?
I think the danger of all this misinformation and attacks on media is that, like we said, we are guardians of democracy. And when people don't believe us anymore or attack us, because that's what's happening, there was on the news, I think yesterday or the day before, that 8 in 10 journalists in the past year have been threatened physically through social media or through other means. And it's really dangerous because we can't make those important stories anymore, or we feel less inclined to go to a large demonstration. It's for instance, at the NOS, we used to have big stickers on our satellite cars. They were taken away because when our reporters...
The stickers, you mean, were taken?
Stickers, so you can't see that it's NOS. It's just a random white van, but it's a satellite van. And they were taken off because when the reporters went to big demonstrations, for instance, COVID demonstrations, they were attacked by the people there. So and also on the road, people were trying to drive them off the road. So it's really dangerous when you start talking about journalists as attackers of the country, or you know, I think it's really dangerous for democracy. And yeah, we really have to fight. That's how I feel. It feels a bit strange that, 2021, we have to really fight for our cause, for our job, for democracy. And yeah, that's also one of the reasons that we're here, to tell news stories and, really try to get the audience to watch our output.
Right.
Yeah.
I was thinking the other day, with some exaggeration, you could say that as a classic news reader, as you are, one of the things you're doing, you're somewhat like maybe the city announcer in the Middle Ages, having the loudest voice because you have the media, and you have the news.
Yeah. Well, if you say we have the media, I think those days are long gone because there's so many other ways
well, you have
that
the voice. You have the news.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And you have the voice. I mean, television and radio is still a loud voice.
It's a very loud voice. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
But is that way of divulging news to the public, to the audience?
Yeah.
Is that still the right way to convey news, or
I don't think there's a right way anymore. It's so much diversified. Also, when you see what we do at the NOS, it's not just me standing there reading the news. We have podcasts. We have on social media. A lot of young people follow us through YouTube, and we have a young people department, as I call it, as an old woman. But so there's so many ways that we're talking to our audience, not just the 8 o'clock news, pom pom, and then you start speaking. There's a lot of different pathways that you can tell the story, and we are very aware of that. That's very important. That it's not only the newsreader, the classical voice, but it's a completely different voice. Also, small voices. You make small podcasts as well. So I think it's. I think this form of the 8 o'clock news and this really classical form of journalism will always stay. We saw the last year our viewership really went up, because when there's a big crisis, I feel that people need, to find their way through all this misinformation. And they know that we really abide by the rules. We take our work very seriously. We really want to speak about the facts and contextualize our story. So people really value that. So I feel that as long as people value what we do and we diversify and really try to reach new audiences, I think the newsreader will stay. Maybe not in a physical form. It could be a robot, or it could be, I don't know, an avatar, whatever. That would be very interesting to speak about what it would look like physically. But no, I think what we do is still important.
Okay. Are you satisfied with the current state of journalism, or do you think more innovation is needed, or would you like to see new forms of storytelling?
No, I really love new forms of storytelling. When I'm on Twitter and I see sometimes New York Times, they do like animations, or what Bellingcat does, and how they try to work with the classical media organizations to incorporate these new techniques. No, I really think that's a very important development. Very important. And that's why I think this. I didn't know about designalism. I didn't know it was it had a name, or artistic journalism, but I think it's really exciting to see what's possible, definitely.
Okay, now at the end of this evening you will come back, so I hope you enjoyed what you're going to see in the meantime. Thank you, Simone.
Okay,
Till later.